been in the house all day, and it's not just due to the allergies. It's mostly because yesterday I decided to go on a walk from where I dropped off my bus because it was the last day of school. And then sometimes when I want to go on my long walks, when I put my mind to it, nothing will change my mind. What I should have done was drive the bus home, take out the heavier stuff that I had, like, you know, my swimming clothes, a few things, and then drop off the bus. That way I can walk. And that was my initial thought. But then I went and I took the bus there, and of course, because it's the last day, I had to clean it and like make sure that everything was like good just for the summer. And then whenever the next driver has it, at least they can have a clean bus. I have my bus, and then when I pulled up, I saw my old bus that was assigned to me, and they had taken it away because it was having so many mechanical issues. Like every other week it would die, and then they would take it to like the actual manufacturer, and then they tried to fix it, and then it couldn't work. So eventually they gave me the other bus to it, which I call it the twin because they're identical and they were registered at the same time, and they're only like one number off from the plate. So yeah, I went to return it, I cleaned it and everything, and then I decided I'm not gonna pay for a taxi, I'm just gonna walk. And I put my backpack on, and then I realized I need to go back and check that the door was actually closed, but it doesn't need to be locked. So I opened the door and it was okay. And so then I slowly started to walk, and then I turned around and I took a selfie, and I was like, this is my last picture with the whole entire fleet behind me. So then I began to walking, and I saw these train carts, and I decided to take a selfie by them because I like the atmosphere, I like the way that the junkyard looked. And then I kept walking, and I saw the train that carries fuel, and then I had an idea in my head to walk along the tracks, and because there's other empty tracks, but I can walk along one and I'll get across faster, or like Google Maps suggests I should go around, and I was like, if I go around it's going to take forever. So then I had to walk around just to be a law-abiding citizen, and lo and behold, as I went to walk all the way around, when the time came that I got to the tracks on the other side so I can actually cross, I just hear beep, 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 beep. And the arm, there was no arm, but there was like the flashing light. The big industrial train was approaching, and I was like, well, it's too late for me to cross now. So then I decided to walk along the train. As it went this way, I went the other way. And then as I'm walking, I'm just like enjoying the atmosphere and looking at all the containers. I got to a point where there was a bridge, and I was like, okay, well, there's about 10 carts left. I'll wait here and then I'll go across. And so I waited, and then I finally went across when the train completed all the way past me. As I walked, there was this like heavy bush and stuff like that, but it looked like there had been a service truck that drove along it. And this service truck, I think it does this regularly because it looked like a path had been created in the bush, and there was a lot of water kind of like in the tracks. And so I took pictures, I kept walking, took some videos, and then I made it to a place that was fenced off, and then finally a clearing open, and it went to a regular neighborhood that had like commercial spaces, you know, tire shops and stuff like that, because this is all an industrial area. And then made my way past the car wash, and then I was on a regular city sidewalk, and everything's going well. And then a part of me was like, let me just pause and take a picture, but then I was like, no, it's okay, I'll remember it in my head. I took a few more steps, I got to the light, and then I saw from far away the light was red, and so I knew that by the time I got there it would be green and I would go. So then all the arrows kept going and everybody went, and as soon as I got to the sidewalk, it was that little man, flat, like it's like white, and then the light went green, But the one thing I've learned in this city about green lights is that green doesn't mean go. It usually means proceed with caution, because the drivers in the city will test every single patient. You would think that they're the Amazon Prime to go see Jesus, because they're always trying to take your life. And it's like, personally speaking, I've had so many encounters, but none this close, and hence why I'm like documenting parts of it. So I turned to my left to see if the car beside me was turning right before I went straight. I made eye contact with the passenger girl, and then I made eye contact with the driver, who smiled or nodded. And then for me, that was another secondary approval, because I already have my green, I have the little man, and I have the people to my left, and I'm like, well, it's time to go. So then I proceed. I took one step. When I took the second step, I was like, I should probably walk faster so the guy behind me who just let me go can like turn right and go their way. But from the time I took off on the sidewalk to the first step to the second, and that thought of going fast, I kid you not, it felt like, I don't know who stopped me. Obviously, like, there was no other human like in the crosswalk, but this like wave just stopped my body, but I didn't stop. It's like I was walking but in slow motion, and all I hear is just boom, stir, and then this car in front of my eyes. I froze, and I watched the car literally, like, if this is me right here, the car's going, and it did a whole 180 360, like the one that the police officers, like when they hit the back of someone's car and it turns around, it did that around me, and then it stopped. And obviously this is the first time that I've had like a near-death experience via vehicle accident, even though I've been in 2 accidents before, but they weren't near death. Like, I was smiling afterwards and I was laughing when my brothers came, but this was like the closest I've ever came to being with the Lord. And then in my head, I literally froze in the middle of the sidewalk. And I remember back home, whenever something tragic would happen, my auntie, because we always say like, it's in Swahili, but it means katika jina la Baba na Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu, which just means like in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And so while I was frozen, nothing else came to mind but that. I'm not Catholic, but it's like, that's all that I grew up seeing all the time, whether it was tragedies or near misses or anything like that. And maybe I haven't faced something as severe since, like, but back when there was war, back when we used to like have to like rush and like leave the town because the rebels were coming and stuff like that. But I haven't really had something that is so close, and that's the first thing that came to me. And then I'm frozen, and then finally the car came to a complete I turn around, and I watched this whole thing happen, by the way. I was like watching him as he went all the way around, because I was also frozen because I couldn't believe what was going on. And as soon as the car is parked, well, you know, you can't park there, haha, as they say, he's like half on the sidewalk. And then I was about to keep walking, but then I'm like, why am I crossing the road? And I forgot why I was crossing the road. So my mind was like, turn around. And then because the car was like in the wrong direction of traffic, then I realized, oh crap, like there was an accident. But I guess during that second of it all happening, I must have just like blanked out. And then I'm looking at the guy, and like he was like a big guy in like a small sedan, and I had no choice. Like, something told me to go back towards him rather than forward. And so I looked at him, I looked at his car, even though yes, he's okay, but obviously he was also in shock, because that could have been bad. And then after a few seconds, I just let him have his like breather, and I was like, hey, are you okay? And then he tried to put the window down, but you can see he's panicking. So then I'm like, are you okay? And then another guy came, and he just kept asking, are you okay? And I'm like, dude, just let him have his moment. He almost died. Like, I know that everybody like wants to be helpful, but at the same time, some people just need to like process what just happened before anyone can even be heard. So then I'm just standing there, and then the people who were waiting for me to cross had parked, and then they came out. They were on their way to dinner, and so we were all just like standing there, kind of like waiting for the guy whose car was hit to put his window down. And then across the street, a lady came walking towards me, and she's like in amazement because she had seen everything that unfolded, and she saw me do the cross, and she's like, I'm a believer, and what I just saw was definitely like a miracle, because you're pretty much gone, like in a sense of like obviously physics, if I had been like one step forward, because I was walking straight with my backpack like this, but like the steps that I was taking next would have just like wiped me out. And she just couldn't believe it. She kept staring at me. She's like amazed, and like she's like, is it okay if I hug you? And like she's like, I'm a believer, and like, you know, pray to God that he just saved your life and all this stuff. And so then the couple who was going through the light, not the ones turning right, they came out, and they're like also they're believers, which was also really sweet. And even the couple that was turning right, like when the blonde lady came and she was like talking about God, they're also believers. And I was like, yeah, it was so like sentimental. And then I jokingly said to the driver who, you know, spun around, and I was like, hey, all of us are safe. It could have been me that you hit. You could have been the one who got hit from the side, and then the other SUV would have been the one that was hit on the driver's side. So luckily, just from like 1 second of no action, we're all here. And as we were standing there, they were trying to do their statements. I couldn't even do mine because my hands were like pins and pins. And I saw, and another lady came, and she kind of like wrote a quick statement, and she left. And the whole time I'm standing there, I'm looking at the light, because it's like the light is still in front of us, but the car is still over here. And I couldn't bring myself to cross the road, because that was like a minor PTSD, because every time I was like, oh, I'm gonna say bye to everyone and I'm gonna leave, I would just get a quick flashback, and then I'd be like, no, I'm just gonna stay. And then after a while, like the tingles started to go less and less, and I actually felt them leaving me, which was awesome, because like from the lady coming to testify about seeing me and like being relieved for me, her hugging me, the couple beside me, all of us were just relaxed. And the craziest thing about like knowing that God is on your side is, even in a moment like that, none of us were crying, none of us were panicking, none of us were like, we all handled it just beautifully and like calmly and purely, and there was no animosity towards anybody. Like nobody was yelling. Even the lady with a car, unfortunately, she was saying how it's a dealership vehicle that they were on extended to take it back, so it's like they're borrowing it from the dealership while their car, I don't know, she said something, but honestly I didn't hear much. And then the guy who just got hit, his car was actually, he said he just came from the garage, and you can tell his hands were really dirty, where he just finished working on the rear left tire that had bent. Who brought all of us together? I have no idea, but all 6 of us are just astonished and thankful and grateful to be here. I don't know what more to say except for the fact that I'm alive and well. Yeah, this year I've experienced already 2 accidents, like visually. Last year I experienced my own accident, and even that, like stories for other days, it was a miracle about everything that came about it. And with the previous accident, a guy hit the person in front of him, and then he got mad and he backed up and hit the person behind him, and then he like and drove off. So then I was a witness to that one. And then I hurt my shoulder, and I've told myself like I had never really sustained major injuries, except for being like broken up here and in my heart. But those things are, I feel like you can fix over time. But when it comes to like real injuries, besides cutting myself when cooking, or like just small things, I've never like sprained my ankle. Like I've been very, very fortunate to just be alive and well and not broken. And then so my shoulder is something that has humbled me, because through it I realized just how I always realize my blessings, but I think this 2025 has fortified that. And yesterday brought even more like attention to my head, where I'm like, you hear the term God is not through with you yet, or the other one where it's like heaven's not ready for me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm still here on earth causing trouble and doing my best to be as good as I can be. But yeah, heaven's still waiting, and I'm here. I'm thankful and grateful, and we keep living, I guess, until the next near miss. That's all that I'm going to share. Earlier that day, I was at the Dollarama buying stuff for my little kiddos, and not Dollarama, Dollar Tree. I like the Dollar Tree because everything's like $1.75, and at the Dollarama out here, lying to people like the dollar store, but stuff is like $4.75. But no, I got this little cute Bible. It's still wrapped. I just thought it was cute. I didn't need to buy it. It was the best impulse buy ever. And then they have one in black. I haven't opened it. And then I have my pink Bible. Then I have a black Bible, and then I have a blue Bible, and then I have another blue Bible that's kind of like child friendly. And the thing I love about having my Bibles, it's like, it's not to be holy or anything, even though like that's the goal, is to try to be holy, but it's more of the fact that there's so much in there that we read and we speak of when it comes to how many times God rescued the people of Israel, and how many times they kept messing up, and God's been rescuing us since like the beginning of time. Shout out to Eve for eating the apple, because ever since her, we've all been cursed. But the curses that came can't always be blamed on Eve, because Adam had to take the part. And so with all of us being faulted, we can only just seek grace. We seek grace from God. We seek for the return of God, the kingdom, and all good things that come with it. But when I look at my Bibles, I'm like, I would love to continuously read. I still haven't finished it. I have so many chapters to go, but the amounts that I've read have also helped me in so many situations in my life. And I'm very fortunate that I even have the ability to read or listen to people who are reading them, listen to stories of people who have overcome certain adversities in their lives. Like, I love it. And I like how it's always made with like leather on the outside. I like the different variations of them. I don't even care about different versions or who's the King's version and the non-King's version. Like, it doesn't matter. I feel like where the Word of God exists, no one can like alter it. So unless it's obviously like those weird like slave Bibles, or like Bibles that were just deliberately changed to like change people, then obviously that matters. But if it's like staying true to the Word, and what's in there is profound and hasn't been altered as much, that's what I love. So today I am thankful for being alive and being here, and God bless all that were involved and everyone that passed by. If there's ever a dash cam footage of what happened, I look like one of those people that had literally an angel stand in front of me while the car passed by, and I'm forever grateful. So stay awesome, stay wonderful, be the best you that you absolutely can be, and be thankful for another day above ground, because I truly am, because I don't know what heaven is like. So here we are, and this is broken.